Hi, my name is Stanley Sr., and this is my YouTube channel, Nomadic Stan, and channel focuses on retirement, travel, and life living abroad, and a few other things. But the topic of this video is my wife was denied a U.S. tourist visa. And basically, we waited 8 months. We paid our fees. We traveled to Bogotá, which is the city that you have to travel to. In this case, since we don't live in Bogotá. The interview lasted just a few minutes, and we were denied. So here's the story. My wife and I got married last year in July. We're coming up on an anniversary, July the 18th. And right after that, I applied for my Colombian ID, a cedula. And I did that first and foremost to get that going. And that's a little bit of a process, and eventually I made that happen. So once we got that, then we started looking into getting the visa for her to visit the United States. And I went online, I signed up for the program. Right now I don't have it in front of me, but I'll flash it up here on the screen. And I went in and filled out the application. That was on September the 1st. And filled it out, paid all the dues. I think it was $625. And you have to go in after that processes and then find a date that you can schedule. And ours was originally scheduled for July. July the 14th, I believe. And now, once you're signed up and you have your appointment, you have an opportunity to move the appointment up if spots open and become available, which does happen sometimes. So you have to be on the system on a regular basis, checking every moment of the day. There's a better time to check, but ultimately you have to watch it like a hawk, and you have a chance to move it up, which did happen for us. I had to, again, check the system, got lucky. Something opened up earlier in May, or to the end of May, and when it opens up, you got to grab it as fast as possible, because you could lose it even in trying to grab it. And actually, I had found something in January, and I acted too slow, and I missed it. So anyway, we made it to May the 28th, and then a second appointment. The first appointment is the biometrics, where they do your fingerprints and something else. And then the second appointment is the interview. So our plan for the tourist visa, let me just say, really and truly, my wife is Colombian, and she's Colombian through and through, and at this point, she has no desire to live in the United States. And at the same time, I have a Colombian ID and a visa, and I'm kind of not very happy with many things going on in the United States, and so it's kind of like not the biggest of deals. But after we got married, I wanted her to if things would have worked out, I wanted her to see San Diego, where I live, and Los Angeles, which is where I'm from, and then we were gonna possibly go and see Las Vegas. And all of that I was gonna do in my van, which is an RV, and it really would have been nice. That was the plan, to do that for a couple of weeks. And so that's our plan, going in and telling them why she wanted to visit the United States. So it was definitely for tourism. And so I paid the fees, like I said, September the 1st, and then got the appointments, and then eventually, again, moved the dates up and got ready for the appointments. So during the waiting period, over the 8 months, I am Nomadic Stan. I like to travel, and so I try to find things to do on a regular basis. And her and I did not really have a honeymoon per se, which, we're always on a honeymoon, but we ended up going to, let's just say in the 8 months time period, we went to San Andres, which is an island in Colombia, for a week, which was really cool. Came back from that, and I went back to San Diego for a few weeks. I came back here. I've been staying here for about 3 months at a time before I go back to the States for a brief moment. And then when I was here, we planned, I was planning a trip for us to go to Argentina. Ultimately, I picked a date in April the 19th or the 20th, and had something to be looking forward to in February, March. And then right after I booked that trip, which was March the 21st actually, that I booked the trip, I got word that my sister passed away on the 23rd. And I had word from her in the middle of February that she had cancer. And at the time, she was just in the mode of fighting it, and starting to whatever was there, but it was a stage 4 prognosis of the pancreatic cancer. So things happen much faster, and so that happened, and so that's that. I'm gonna make the video about that, but that's just something that happened in between the process. And of course, marriage in the first year of a mixed couple has been interesting. And so that being said, though, we still were able to fit in the trips. Oh, and I left out in December, we went to Bucaramanga, which is another city here in Colombia. And again, nice time. So we've had some great times. And Argentina was amazing. After dealing with my sister's situation, which is ongoing, I went ahead and made this trip, or went ahead with the plans, and it was therapy necessary, and it was an amazing trip, and got that out of our system. But we knew that we had these appointments coming up in Bogotá, and we were just trying to keep everything together to see if we could get that all done. Now with the appointments set, I had to book the trip to Bogotá, and went ahead, and we might as well have spent a week there, because one appointment was the 28th, and then the second appointment was June the 5th. So we booked an Airbnb. I did my research, and I found a place in an area called Modelia. And it was convenient because it was close to the first appointment, the CAS appointment, which was in a cool little area. What do they call it? Connecta 26 or something like that. And anyway, it was cool, nice, comfortable, and that was a pretty easy appointment. Get the line, you go inside, you get fingerprints and something else, the biometrics, and she was done. So everything was fine, upbeat, and Okay, so we went through the whole day, went out to explore the town or the city, Modalia, which is not necessarily a popular one, up and coming, but it was kind of nice. Airbnb was cool. What I like about Colombia is you have these non-assuming buildings, and then you go inside the apartments and the building itself, and some of them are really nice. This one was really nice. The people were nice. It wasn't over extravagant, but they had breakfast, an Airbnb with breakfast. And so that was a caveat also. So we were close to the appointments, and they served breakfast. And so Modalia was pretty cool. We ended up finding different places. We had a dinner at a really nice restaurant. It was called El Ceviche. I had the best mojada frita, pescado, fish. This place was amazing. Unassuming. We just found it. Actually, I think my wife knew about it, but had a great time there. And then throughout the week, between appointments, we did some other visits to different parts. Kind of made it a little bit touristy. We also kind of kept it low key. Didn't want to spend a lot of money. And we also took a bus ride to Villa de Leyva, which is a town 3-4 hours outside of Bogotá. And that was an amazing trip. And kind of kept us loose for the Friday appointment that was coming up. That trip was amazing. I have other videos on some of the things that happened there. So on our return from Villa de Leyva, we gave ourselves a day before we had to go to the appointment on Friday morning. And we woke up to a little bit of a rainy day, and we took our taxi. The place is only about 4 or 5 miles away, but because of Bogotá traffic and the roads and the windy different things that you have to do, it could take 30 minutes. But anyway, we did make it on time, and we arrived to a long line, and didn't really know anything, but there were some police officers there and some people to guide us through to make us know that we were in the right line. And I stayed with her for a little while to a certain point where I couldn't go with her, and she was on her own. I went to a nearby restaurant across the street to hang out and wait for her to do what she had to do. Now, from what I understand, she went through a longer line and then eventually had to go through security. And when she did that, she gets in line to get ready to go to an interview window. And they call her up. And this is her account. She said they asked her 3 questions. What is she going for? How long is she staying? And maybe something else. And after that, maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes total, they handed her a piece of paper. And when they hand you that piece of paper, that means that you're denied. So when they hand you that piece of paper, it has some verbiage on it, but they don't really give you the exact reason why they denied you. They give you a few options that might have been possible, but ultimately, I think that, we felt good going in. She's married to me, and I'm retired. I have a decent amount of income. We've been married for a year. We've traveled in and out of the country to, like I mentioned, Argentina, but we've been to Peru. We've been to a couple of Panama and some other places together. So they have record of all these things. And she has her 2 kids here. The youngest is 16, but they both live in the house. The other is 26. And her family, she's close to her family. She has a business. It's not a thriving business, and that might have been a problem. So if If it was thriving, then maybe that shows more reason that she's returning. But still, the other stuff is strong enough, her family and her kids. And the fact she has a business, she's going to school, but it was more of a certificate program, so they probably didn't put any weight on that. But that's all of us second guessing what they might have been doing. And then also the administration in the United States is a little bit harder with immigration, and I checked some stats and found out that that's actually not conjecture, that's true. So overall, it was a good experience. And there she is. And there she is. And the thing is, you just don't know. You know, she doesn't own a home. That could hurt because, again, it shows you don't have a property to come back to. But that being said, she was talking to a gentleman in line who was a man in uniform. He owned a home. It seemed okay, but she said he was denied. So her business income may not have been strong enough. We had a situation actually years ago, kind of a interesting story. When we first met, we were supposed to meet in Cancun, and she flew there. And when she arrived, actually I was there ahead of time to meet her. And when she arrived, I never got a chance to see her because the Mexican police sent her back to Colombia. And that was, you know, pretty earth-shattering and everything when it happened. And that was 3 years ago. But come to find out that stays on your record. And so the people doing the interview, you know, already knew that was there. They didn't ask her about it per se, but that's something else that they're matching up. They're trying to make sure that you're not going to stay in the United States. And apparently our case was not compelling enough, even though all of my sources, everything I checked beforehand, said that we were looking pretty good. And but it went the way it did. And the lesson learned, honestly, we did everything right. The best thing is to apply early, check for cancellations often, and be prepared as you can be. Nothing is guaranteed. We were disappointed. I was waiting at the restaurant for her to finish up. And she came back, and I could tell that it wasn't overly positive. And so we had a moment to console. And then I just told her that it worked out for the best. Honestly, a trip right now to the United States, to San Diego, California, to do what we were planning to do would have been quite expensive. The last time I was in California, early part of May, gas was $6.50. So my van was only getting about 12 miles to the gallon, and the combination of that and hotels and you got food expenses, and my wife likes to eat, so food, everything. It would be so much more costly and expensive for me to take a vacation back to my own home, my own home. So ultimately, we were okay. We got over it quickly, and life goes on, and we're still enjoying Colombia. I definitely am. We're still traveling together. I got another trip planned in my head. It's not in fruition as of yet. And I'm still adapting to life here in Colombia. I'm in the city of Cucuta, and working on my Spanish, working on my websites, and we're not going to reapply. We're going to wait and try to get ourselves in a little bit of a stronger position. But also, things need to settle down in the United States. And this is a website and a video about retirement and travel and living abroad. So we'll just give you a little insight to the visa process, actual, and what people go through. And also, I'll add too that the fact that we're married actually hurts us in the decision making. That's more of a element to where they think that we would try to. That's another way that a lot of people use to get to the United States is to get married. So they don't give you any credit for that. So anyway, the decision is made by the United States. And I personally think that it's pretty heartbreaking for the amount of people that stood in line that are legitimately trying to come to the United States, just like my wife, tourist visa, everything else. They could do a better job, a little bit more thorough in the interviews, and give people more of a chance. I mean, you're spending your hard-earned money to have that opportunity, and you should know without having to go through that process. But at the same time, the United States has to make sure that they check people. Now, how much they put into that, that's what I don't know. But we should be able to do a better job, and life goes on. So thanks for tuning in to this video. I'm going to share more stories and things that have to do with being retired and living abroad and traveling, because that's what it's all about. So thanks again. Like I said, like, subscribe, all those things, and I'll see you in the next video.